Welcome, my kitties. My name is Doom, and you're joining me for another episode of Debunking the Debunkers. Today, I wanted to look a little bit closer at SGD. His name is Alan, and first, I wanted to address Alan personally. Dude, I'm not a sadist. I'm not a psychopath, a sociopath. I do not enjoy getting into fights with people, physical or mental. But obviously, I'm picking a huge fight here on the internet with you and other channels, and I just wanted to say that remember, we're all in this together. We're all part of the same community. It is through this clash that people are learning. There's a lot of arguments that are frankly entertaining that are happening on all channels, not just yours. And I gotta say that even though you're probably the biggest asshole out of this debunking lineup, I think I like you the most because at least you don't have proxy accounts and like a slippery weasel bomb off fake accounts. At least you're stand up. You stick to your guns. You reply through your personal account. And even though our views differ, I've got nothing personal against you. All of this is just a game to me. I think you have a lot of interesting videos. Beside Ancient High Tech, channel is pretty massive. I was scrolling back like an entire 10 years here, and there's just so many videos, debunking videos, that I have to scratch this itch, and I will be with time. And in my attempt to learn more about SGD, I found this video that goes back 5 years ago. And before we discuss this epic video, I wanted to talk a little bit about SGD's approach. And first I'm going to say that doing experiments, which is SGD's debunking approach, is probably as scientific as we can get here. That's literally the epitome of science, is running experiments and trying to learn something through these experiments. And what is a hypothesis? Okay, I just want to like reset here and just reframe everything that's happening and reframe SGD's approach. So a hypothesis is a proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. So that's what happened here with Ancient Lost Technology Community. Like, let's say, take this channel Uncharted X, is he proposed a hypothesis. The hypothesis is, it appears that there's ancient high technology, and then he started delivering evidence for this hypothesis. And he's got like 5 years of this evidence, of these pieces of evidence that should, induce a further investigation. And if one were to refute a hypothesis, a channel like SGD, if one were to refute the hypothesis of ancient high technology, then one would have to take all of these videos, 5 years of Ben's videos, of high-tech community videos, and with experiments that would have to be conducted over the entire course of 5 years. After conducting these experiments, the debunker, like SGD, should step back and reevaluate the hypothesis, right? Objectively say, okay, now that I have run all of these experiments, can I conclude that there is reasonable amount of evidence that ancient high technology is present on the planet, or is everything that Ben is doing is in vain and bullshit? Only after this series, the full completion of experiments, could one come to that determination. Is it bullshit or is it real? I think that's a scientific approach, but what SGD did, and I think his approach is flawed, is SGD had already a belief system in place that there is no ancient high technology. And before his debunking even started, I scrolled through some other videos, it was clear that SGD already had a belief system. And this belief system was challenged by a channel like Uncharted X. And instead of saying, okay, Ben, interesting hypothesis, let me run experiments on all of your claims, and I'll see you after those experiments, and we'll talk about your hypothesis. Instead of that, SGD just said, this is bullshit. and I'm going to show you why it's bullshit through my experiments. And one by one, SGD started rattling off these claims that he's debunking all of these claims, right? No matter what the claim is, no matter how scientific the video is or what's happening in the video, channels like SGD and others have to debunk that information. This is not a scientific approach. This is a clear-cut confirmation bias. So I call out to SGD to step back and recalibrate your entire approach and ask yourself, do my experiments stand? Do all of them absolutely stand? Are all of them applicable? Have I refuted all of Uncharted X's claims? Will there be some piece of evidence that will come in that will finally tell me that ancient high technology is real? Like, I will just, no more experiments, it's done, it's sealed. Like, is there a possibility like that? Like, ask yourself that. And again, your debunking approach is questionable. I think it's a big mistake, and I think you have cornered, you and this whole community have been like drilled or put into a corner in which you can't come out a winner, because no matter what amount of information, what evidence comes in the future, you have to stick to your guns and say there is no ancient high technology. And that's unfortunate. That's all I wanted to say about that. Let's just move on to this very interesting video that I found inside SGD's archive here. It goes back 5 years ago. This video, this video is crazy. Okay, so this video is not of SGD, it's of some man, I believe, of some man visiting Egypt, and he's got this tour guide. And this tour guide in Abydos takes him into this hallway where it displays kings of Egypt. So let's take a closer look at it.
Painted or
No,
different?
this is not just...
Nothing to do with the king's
yeah,
list.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, what's happening here is there are two walls, right? The king's list is on both walls. Let's see what SGD has to say about this.
And is this, what's this one? Is this repeated or
No,
different?
this is not just...
Nothing to do with the king's
yeah,
list.
yeah, yeah.
Before I go on, I'd just like to indicate that I'm not putting anything disparaging on the tour guide. That's how they make their living, and they need to be very careful about what they say, and they could lose their living if they were to upset certain establishment or authorities in there. So just indicate that I would offer all sorts of apologies and reasons why it was important for these tour guides whose living comes from this to say that there is nothing to do of importance on this side of the hallway, this passage here. Because on one side, on the right side, we see the King's List, which begins from Nama onwards. But actually what we have on the other side is what's sometimes referred to as the first time or the first occurrence, or Zep Tepi, this ancient time. Now,
Just gonna pause it here. So what the hell is going on here? Again, both walls are the King's List, except this woman just said that on this wall, there's nothing there. Because the truth is, this King's List only goes back, you know, some 4,500 or so, 5,000. So this is the dynastic period right here. This is what they teach in colleges, universities across the world. This is as far back as civilization goes. The truth is, on these two walls, is an entire Egyptian history that stretches back 10, 20, 30,000 years. So this woman literally just omitted a giant chunk of history, telling this man that there's nothing,
Why it was important.
that there's nothing on that other side, right? Nothing to do with the King's List. This is exactly what she just said. This first time the Zetepi period is confirmed by another Turin papyrus King's List, which is a scroll that was recovered in some 1800s, which has precise dates of reigns of these rulers that preceded the current civilization. And those dates are like 13,000 something years for the Shemsu Hor period and 23,000 some years for the Zeptepi period. So totaling the Egyptian civilization actually something into the 39,000. This is the true Egyptian civilization, which is being systematically omitted, starting with these little tour guides that have been told by their employers to omit this chunk. And Alan said something like, I don't want to say anything disparaging about this woman. This is how she makes her living. Her employers told her to do this. My view on this is a little bit different. I say this woman, go clean houses, woman, right? Go sell spices at a kiosk in Cairo and stop spreading misinformation. I don't care what your employer told you. This is Egyptian history. You're in a goddamn Egyptian temple, and you should tell tourists what's really happening on these walls. And what's really happening on these walls is a record of a long-standing Egyptian race. Of course, this wall is the first time is of the superhuman race that walked the planet 10, 20,000 years ago before the Younger Dryas impact. This civilization, I believe, was physical. They had kings. All of the names of these kings are right here. And this civilization met a catastrophic end in a comet impact, or a series of cataclysmic events that have literally descended it into rubble. And then there was a reset period and a birth of a new civilization, which we are a part of now. So again, this is an incredible video. Thanks to SGD for, reminding us that this crazy shit actually exists, that tour guides in Egypt blatantly omit giant chunks of Egyptian history because they are in conflict with mainstream archaeology that University of Washington, Yale, Princeton, that World of Antiquities of Egypt teaches, right? They just teach this wall. Only this wall exists. It looks like to me that there are two walls, right? It looks like they both exist, and in fact, they're very similar, aren't they? They're almost like one and the same, and one big historical record of a species. So we've been duped. We've been heavily duped, and this duping comes down from the higher ups that run this planet, and it ends with little disinformation spreading tour guides like this woman. And that's all. That's all I wanted to say. SGD, you're going to see me again. I'm going to try and stay away from your videos and commenting on your videos as much as possible. And you'll see me again. Alright, love you guys. Peace out. Bye. Bye. Bye.